Hi, welcome back. It's Dawn, Red Barn Crafty Stuff. I'm working on a new colors I just bought from Daniel Smith. They're new this year, new for 2025. Juane Brilliant #1, Coral Reef, and Earthy Red Light. In my previous video, I swatched these colors out on this paper, this 100% cotton paper. And then I've got this geometric design going on here. And I left it a little dark so that you could see it before I started, where I'm combining rectangles and concentric circles, as you can see. And my plan today is to, I bought these three colors, the Juane Brilliant, Coral Reef, and the Earthy Red Light, and then I decided to add to it Undersea Green and Indanthrone Blue. Another color I could have added instead of Indanthrone would have been like neutral tint for a really muted palette. But I really wanted to include the blue. I thought the blue would, I thought it would go well with the other three colors, these three. And they might blend a little nicely. And I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to do like a blend of colors and do like, you know, especially on some of these bigger pieces. No, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do like a Roy G. Biv. I'm going to start, well, I'm not going to do Roy G. Biv actually. I'm going to do, I am going to start with the yellow and then go into Coral Reef and then the red and then the green and then the blue. And so where we've got some of these squares, and these rectangles that are intersected by the circles. So for example, this one I might do the top of it Coral Reef and then the bottom of it Earthy Red. So that's kind of my plan, but this is my palette swatched. They're my colors. I'm using this goofy little, well, it's a goofy choice. It's not a goofy, I picked this up at Aldi and I've got my colors in it. We're going to see how we like using this, but yeah, that's what we're doing. More painting, less talking. So we're going to start off with Juane Brilliant, and I think I've got something still left in this brush. I thought I cleaned it, but clearly not. And man, still feel like some of these pencil lines are still kind of dark. I should have done this before. But see, if I do this before I turn the camera on, then people say, oh, I wish I could have seen the lines before you knocked them back. And then now I'm sitting here looking at all these dark lines going, no, too dark. Because I don't mind a little showing through. I just don't want a whole bunch showing through, you know. And I'm just using a silly little polymer eraser that you get from anywhere that sells school supplies. And it does leave schmutz all over your paper. You could use the gray kneadable, which doesn't leave any residue. But I don't know where it is, and it's just sitting on my desk. It's been sitting on my desk, so I use what I got, you know. This is a number 10 round I'm using. It's a synthetic squirrel. I definitely had something in my brush here, but you know what? We're just going with it. Alright, I still have a lot of eraser schmutz. One more pass. Actually, I'm going to dab this back a little. I'm going to clean this brush really super well. We're going to try this again. Looks like it's a blue or a green that was still in this brush. I used my smaller brush for the swatching, my number 5. So I don't know what my last project was with this, but it doesn't matter. I think it's probably blue because I've been working on some stuff for 4th of July. And I'm guessing it's blue. Alright, let's try this again. Well, it still feels like it's dirty. Well, it's just going to have to be. And I just used a I think I just did that line wrong. Well, that's the new line now. I just used a compass to draw my circles. And I really didn't, it was a random size. I really didn't have a preference on how that went. I really meant that outside line to be the line. I should have stopped it there. Okay, well, we'll figure it out. Maybe when I do the circle, I'll do it in the dark blue so it'll cover up any watercolor I screwed up, right? All right, so like for this one, next one, like right underneath it, what I might do is the coral with a little bit of the Juane Brilliant in it. And we don't need a whole lot here. And like I said, I screwed that line up, so I'm going to fix that. Got too much liquid. Great. We're just off to a rip-roaring start here, aren't we? Hey, that's the way it goes. Got to be prepared to take the wins with the losses, or whatever. All right, so now I think what I'm going to do is start here with the yellow, the Juane Brilliant. Which still, of course, has some of the other color in it. And then I'm going to grab some of this coral reef and come in from the other side. Beautiful. Pay attention to my line here. Oh yeah, love it. Okay, let's go back and pick up some more of this Juane Brilliant and do I apologize for all the moving around here, but this is a little more tricky than I was giving it credit for. Of course, I erased that line too much. It's the way it goes. I either erase it too much or not enough. Okay, like that. See how I've got too much water, how it's kind of like floating on top there? Not great. It's going to give me a bloom. But it is what it is, man. All right. I guess we'll carry on with Coral Reef. I'm going to try to get this a bit more pigmented here. Too much water again. See if we can spread that out. One nice thing about a brush like this is it does hold a lot of water, so that when you are trying to do a piece, and you want your, you know, you covering a lot of real estate, a lot of square feet, it's there for you to do that. Okay. I'm thinking about how I want to transition this piece. Do I want this piece to be more earthy red? I think I do. And I still have that coral reef in my brush. So it is going to be a little bit of a what's the word? A blend, but not much. There's not a lot in there. So we're just going to go for it. This terracotta is gorgeous. I know it's called Earthy Red Light, but it's very terracotta in my mind. Very red-brown. I think when I was doing the swatching, I looked at the pigment. I think it was PBR 6. Why am I thinking that's not right? It wouldn't be PBR because that would be brown. No, PR 290. Boy, I was really off. Red iron oxide. Wow. Could you be more? Wow. Very art supplies there. Yeesh. I don't know where PBR came from because that would not even be close. PB 290. Please disregard my Sunday afternoon brain fog. Ooh, look at that granulation. Did we get granulation before? It didn't show up very much because this is really textured paper and this is not. My cotton paper, my swatch paper is 100% cotton and this is not. This is very smooth relative to. I better stop talking and start painting before this dries and I get a line on my piece. This is just a sketchbook. This is just for fun. But I didn't notice how granulation on the highly textured paper, but I like that. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go super dark right there, even though I would normally do a blend. I'm just going to do mass tone right here. Because you know why? It's my piece and I can if I want to, right? Right. I mentioned in my other video that these were birthday pigments. I'm very good at giving myself gifts. It just happened it was right around my birthday and I was like, yeah, I'm going to pick up 3 new, these are new colors for 2025, these 3. And the first 2, this one and this one and this one have titanium white in them, which makes them pretty opaque, or opaque qualities about them. And this one is drying really hard at that end, but that's okay. We're just going to let it go. That is not the end of that box. That is the end of that box. I can see it now. Well, we may just redraw that. That's just the way that goes. Okay, what's next? I think I want some more Juane, and I know I've got a lot of stuff in this brush, but here's what we're doing. Mind the paint. See, now you can see that titanium white coming in. You can see how chalky, maybe is the word I want to use. Yeah, chalky is a good word. This has got some awkward hand situation, sorry. Kind of letting it run down. I had too much water. But I really want this to be a more pigmented square. Okay, we're going to take some stamps and put over here. So I'm just using some red rubber stamps that I can just brace underneath. Because we're at the beginning of the book, and even though it lies flat, it doesn't exactly lie flat. Because when you get down to this part in the book, it's all over the place. All right. Now what? What if we took some Juane and some earthy red and we really lightened that up? Also, I wonder what happens if I grab a little green, a little undersea green, and put in here. What would I get? Ooh. We're mixing potions. We're making concoctions. I'm going to try not to turn this and just paint this. It's kind of mud. Kind of made mud, didn't I? Well, that's okay. Need a little brown now and again, don't you? All right. What if we add a little blue to that? I made more brown. Look, it's lovely. Oh, now I made gray. Well, there's worse things than making gray, I suppose. Made like a green gray. I, 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 This is the undersea green, just full strength. Not full strength, but not mixed with anything. All right. Thinking. It's difficult. Do you smell smoke? I wouldn't be surprised. All right, what do we get if we mix some undersea green? Blue Juane Brilliant. Oh, that's a neat green. Oh, I like that. It's like a pea green or almost olive. Oh yeah, that's pretty. Like that olive. All right, let's take a little of that olive, add it to the earth red and dull her down and make her a bit more pumpkin-y. Yeah, let's put her here. Definitely pumpkin. Or a burnt sienna or something. I didn't mix up enough for this space, so I'm trying to make it stretch. Should do it. There's no more. Phew. It was just enough, man. None to spare. All right, Miss Coral. You haven't had a lot to say yet. I'm gonna do you very pigmented right here, just like I did there. Yep. That's where you're going. And maybe right here too. Oops, sorry. Whoopsie. Oh, the water showed up, thanks. I am loving this coral color. The Juane, I'm not sure. I don't dislike it, but just as a standalone color, it's kind of blah, you know? But this coral, whoo! She makes me want to tap dance, and I don't tap dance. All right. Now I'm wondering if I want to mix a little bit of Indanthrone in with the coral and get a nice little pale purple. Oh yeah, that's a neat color. Let's see, what can I need more pigment than that now. It's like a periwinkle. And there, Indanthrone took over. Whoopsie. So much for my periwinkle. Let's see what I get. I got it. It's still there. Just leans very heavy towards the blue, doesn't it? That's okay. Paper's very thirsty. It's drying up too quick on me. Well, I also have a fan going too, which isn't helping. Okay. Right, I'm going to bend it back towards the coral now. That's why these little wells are nice, because then you can not start over, but then you have opportunities to make a new color. Alright, I gotta try to imagine where this line is. That's a very sweet pink. All right, now I'm going to grab a little green. Or a lot of green, I don't know. This brush is almost too big for these little parts, but I really don't want to use another size. I'm just going to make it work. I added some blue to that, but it sure doesn't look it, does it? I mean, it is a little cooler. Add a little bit more. Yeah. Wow, it's a lot of blue. I do like double loading a brush though. Sometimes I like that better than mixing it in a well and getting a, oopsie, and getting a you know, fully mixed color. I like the double dip because then you're, or, you know, double loaded brush rather, because then you get some interesting play. Kind of like that. Just grab some Davy's gray. I wasn't going to, but I feel like I need something else here. Oh, I like that. That is quite nice. Very cool. Don't you like happy accidents? I do. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what's next. I'm going to try to go pretty heavy on the Juane Brilliant here. It's been a little bit since I had to turn this off and came back, so everything's dried down now, and I'm really enjoying these colors. Dried. It came out really nice. Some of the Cascade green here, of course, and a little bit of that Davy's grays. Really quite pretty. All right, now what do I want to put there? Something bluish, I think. Oh, it's not very blue, is it? Okay. We're just grabbing colors at this point. Just blending them in the... That's not very pretty, is it? It's kind of gray-brown. Not even remotely pretty. Alright, back to the drawing board. My initial idea was I was going to paint the circles like a dark color, like a Payne's gray or even that Indanthrone blue. And And then I thought, well, maybe I'll just leave them empty. But then I made the mistake up here where I took the Juane down too far. I don't have a circle up there, a line up there. So next I thought, well, maybe I'll just outline them, you know, like a fine liner, which I may still do. But I'm still deciding. This is kind of being not spontaneous, but just kind of going with the flow as I do it. I think that's what pattern making is all about to me, is just kind of modifying the piece as you go. Or maybe it isn't. Maybe I'm just deluding myself and I should have a set plan and stick to it. Don't think so. Sure love this green. Oopsie. I'm just going to grab just Juane and put down here too. I'm trying to spread the colors out among the piece. I really like the Juane Brilliant and the Indanthrone Blue. Makes a really nice, like a very nice muted blue, like a Williamsburg blue or a slate blue. That's a beautiful color. Yep, we like it. Grab some of that earthy red. And we'll put it right here. Looks pretty good. Alright, some earthy red and what? Maybe a little Juane. Put it over here. Yeah, that makes a lovely palette. This makes a lovely palette, these colors. I'm really enjoying them. Yes, I got one more little square to do, or one little piece of this square left to do, and then I'm going to let it dry and then decide if I'm going to highlight the, you know, outline the rings or what. haven't decided. But let's finish this up here. I kind of lean real heavy into this coral reef color. Okay, let's let those bad boys dry and then we'll come out and figure out what's next. Okay, everything's dry, and I think what I'm going to do is paint around these circles, or paint in these circles, in the Indanthrone Blue, which is the color, you know, this blue color I've been using. I may regret this choice, but here we go. I just think it feels like unfinished. I think if I were doing darker colors, I think the circle left white would be, you know, like a place for your eye to rest, like a negative space. But I swapped out for a smaller brush. And I'm kind of grabbing a pretty decent swab of pigment here, going for more of a mass tone than a, because I think the contrast will be nice. You know, if I thought about it, I could have done like one of the colors green, as long as it didn't cross a green. Oh well, whatever. We're just gonna go with it. Stick with our original gut, which is this very beautiful color. I don't use it very much. I should use it more. Yeah, it makes this little piece right here, that little nibby corner right there, makes sense now with the, you know, with the blue. I'm going to bring this down a little bit so you can just see a little bit better. Blue really is very striking compared to these paler colors. And just a sketchbook, what's the worst that can happen, right? I go, I'm not going to do that again. It's just paint and paper, right? Of course, right. The biggest thing is just don't be in a rush. To me, because I struggle with that. That's my, that's one of the things I struggle with. Just to go slow. That's why some of the exercises I do, people go, "Oh, how do you have the patience for that?" Well, it's a practice that I'm practicing. And the only way to get better is to stretch yourself a little, you know? Well, that was not very good. I should have gone slower. Okay, well now I'm trying to do it with a weird angle, so I'm going to turn it. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's move on. Let's do these other two. And they're going to intersect each other, of course, but I think that's where it'd be interesting if you did another color. But there's something cohesive about doing the same color at the same time. And by doing this darker color, I'm kind of getting the opportunity to correct any overpainting into this particular part, which I find somewhat satisfying. And I may want to add some doodles to this later, like gold maybe, or white, I don't know. But I like to sit with a piece for a while sometimes before I add another layer, like doodles. Sometimes a piece just needs to talk to you. I think I did the same thing with these lines. I let it dry and I just let it sit here for a little while, and then I can decide what it needs. And then sometimes you just gotta go for it. Let's just do something. Nothing wrong with that either. Okay. Looking good. Maybe you like the organic nature. I kind of lean between perfectionism in my lines like this and the organic nature, which is watercolor, which is not perfection. Well, some watercolor artists have perfection in their lines, but you know what I mean. The fluid nature of the watercolor itself, and the beauty that is not the straight lines or the perfect lines, the lines that, you know, like right there, that go ooh outside the lines. Okay. Let's pull back the camera here and see how we feel, but I'm thinking that for now we're going to call this done, and I may add doodles later, but I think for today and for this video it's long enough that we have ourselves a completed project. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you again soon. Bye.